You call me teacher and master, and rightly so. If I am a master and a teacher, and I wash your feet, I set you an example, that what I have done to you, you do it to one another. Tonight we come together to celebrate the Last Supper. We call it Holy Thursday. And the readings speak about that supper that really is a derive of a very important supper in the life of the chosen people. Many of you know that Tuesday, the Jewish people begin the Passover, and the Passover lasts 8 days. And the rite of the Mass itself, is a derivation, is an outcoming of that Passover. In other words, from the Passover of the Jews, we see that Jesus instituted the sacrament of the oath. He gave us his body and blood under the species of bread and wine. In the first reading tonight, we see the story of the Passover of the Jews. Moses instructed them. Every year, on a certain month, on the 13th of the month, you have to celebrate the Passover. You have to find a lamb, either from the goats or from the sheep. Has to be white without no blemish. All the symbolism is reflecting to the very true lamb that we are about to emulate on our altar tomorrow. And then he said that you have to procure it for your family. If you are too small, you join other people, and you have to eat it in a manner that you are on a flight. That you are going to eat it with your sash around your waist. You are not going to break any bone of the lamb. No bones of the lamb will be broken. And the prophecy of David, no bone was broken from Jesus. You are going to eat it with herbs. You are going to also eat it with sweets to remind you of the good times and the bad times you have in Egypt. And also you have to take some of the blood and post it on your doors. So when the angel of death, who is going to pass through Egypt, he will not destroy your firstborn. And that was the story of the Passover. And then we go in the Gospel today and we find Jesus in the atmosphere of the Last Supper. And there, he told his disciples that this is the last meal he's going to have with them. He's not going to drink any more from the vine, from the fruit of the vine, till he is in the kingdom of heaven. And he's telling them that he's going to the Father, and one of them is going to betray. Dear people, the betrayal of Jesus was more suffering than any of the suffering he endured. Because it was one of his bishops, one of his priests that he selected of the 12, one who ate with him, one who knows Jesus more than any other people know. And he is the one who turned them in. And that teaches each one of us a lesson. Because the enemy is not outside, it's within. And that's what we are seeing in the church today. The enemy is within. The enemy is not those people there, it's the people here. We hear today how many priests go on the media and tell the Pope to resign and tell the Pope this. Do you know the facts? Have you been in the tribunal of Miriam and also in the tribunal of the Rota? Have you reflected what happened? Have you read the petition to the congregation of the clergy, not the congregation of the doctrine of faith, because Joseph Ratzinger was the director of the doctrine of faith, not of the clergy. It was Hoyas of the clergy. No letter of this abuse will go to that office, it goes to the clergy office. And then that goes to the Rota for laization. And we know that much nonsense has been thrown in the papers to really darken the image of the Holy Father. One of the greatest men that the church ever had on the chair of Peter, it is this Pope. He is a theologian, he is prudent, he is very, very, very on target, and he is the one who cleaned home. I love John Paul, don't misunderstand me, but John Paul was in America, was in Africa, and when the cat is not around, the mice will play. And that's what happened at the road. This Holy Father, without no notice, he will walk in the office of different organizations. This Holy Father knows very well what's taking place there because he has been 24 years. And so he went after many of those people who are really, as we say, some troublemakers. And he cleaned. You see how many gardens he removed and brought and put in place. Because he knows that the church needs a renewal. The church needs a cleanup. And because he is cleaning up the church, those who do not like it, they are turning against him. One of the things that really is very, very evident is the Holy Father is concerned, from the reports of the bishops of America, of the lifestyle of some of the religious of the country here in America, the way they are living. They are living in, what is called, in apartments, not in community, in convent. There is no prayer life, they know this, they know this. And that is not the charisma, the spirit of the Father. And so Rome appointed overseer, and some of these nuns are not very happy about the fact they shut the door on these delegates of Rome. And we hear them today in the news, they are in favor of this, of the Herod system and this and that, because the bishop said one thing, they are trying to say another thing. This is what I told you, that the enemy is within. And believe me, dear people, it is not those people out there who criticize the church. We criticize the church. And when you criticize the church, you are criticizing yourself. Because the church are those who are baptized. All of us who are baptized make the universal church. And that's why today, in that gospel that I will refer to it again, Jesus reminded what the church is all about. St. Paul today reminds us of the Eucharist. He's telling the people of Corinth, he's telling them, I am telling you to really re-evaluate yourself before you approach the sacrament of love. You better examine yourself and distinguish this food from the food of your tables. Because if you approach this sacrament lightly, and sometimes even unworthily, you are receiving your own condemnation. And that's why he said, the Lord Jesus, on the night he was betrayed, he took bread, said the blessing, broke it, gave it to them and said, take and eat. This is my body. The same way he took the cup, he blessed it, gave thanks, gave it to them and said, this is my blood. The blood of the new and everlasting covenant that will be shed for you and the sins of the world. Whenever you come together, you do this in memory of me. But in order to celebrate God's love, and to celebrate His very presence with us, we really need to take seriously the word that Jesus today spoke to us in the Gospel.